This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of their affiliated organizations.
Welcome back to Ready to Connect, everybody. I'm Lisa.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
And this week we're going to continue our Haunted America series into the South, the Southeastern states of Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi. But before we get into all the wonderful, spooky stories that we have to tell, let's hear about what's going on with everybody. How was your weekend? How was your past week? I don't mind sharing right off the bat because mine is not very exciting. I spent the weekend in bed sick with, I would say, the most severe head cold I've had in a long, long while. In fact, my voice, I apologize, it's not even full-throated yet. So that's all I have to report. Just sick in bed, missed the Super Bowl party that we were invited to. But yeah, that's all I have to report. So what's been going on with you, Heather?
Well, we were snowed in again, so that's always fun. Good old New England, 35 one day and negative 25 the next.
That's true. That's true.
So not much going on here. I don't have much to report either.
Yeah.
But I did go the other day to a lovely tea shop. So anybody listening that lives in the New England area, I'm going to give a shout out to a little tea shop called Fable down in Southeastern, Connecticut. Had the most wonderful cup of tea that I've had in a very long time. Had a creme brulee tea. It was delicious, but the atmosphere was so inviting, so welcoming, kind of witchy. They had like the dark painting and the antiques everywhere, and they make their own syrups and they use loose leaf tea. And it was so just calming to go into this little space, have a warm cup of tea, especially seeing how right now the weather is freezing. That would probably be my highlight, other than lazing around all weekend from the snow. So,
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan? What'd you do this weekend?
Oh, same here. Not much, really. Just, trying to stay warm because it was very cold outside. I'm still impressed by Watson, the dog that I live with. He's just another roommate. So he's my roommate's dog for new listeners. So just watching him be so determined to get out of the shoveled area that we made for him, he wants to now jump up onto the snow and try to walk wherever he can, and it's just so incredible seeing his determination. But
Does he sink into the snow when he does that?
once in a while, yes, but then he quickly gets up and he tries to keep walking, and so it's just so incredible. I'm just like, keep going, buddy. Like, I'm so proud of you. So it's pretty cool to see that. And then I noticed something that he's been doing recently too. He's actually been like bowing his head to say yes. So, and it's been so cool to see. Like, I'll ask him and be like, "Do you want like whatever I'm asking?" And he will like bow his head yes. So it's just so cool. I don't know how he picked that up, but he's a smart cookie. So
That's because you're running British antique shows in the background.
we are actually.
He loves Antique Roadshow in the UK, and they tend to, when they
do.
speak.
So for the listeners out there who don't know, we run Antiques Roadshow all day in this household. I mean, I enjoy watching it too. I'm an old soul, but Watson enjoys watching it. He will watch it all day. We've tried other shows, but other shows get him like really amped up and like he just goes crazy. But with Antiques Roadshow, he will just sit there and watch it.
Calming
Yeah,
experience for him.
exactly. Yeah.
The British accent.
Between the bird watching, the coin collecting, the antique
Yeah.
roadshow,
Yep.
you are an old soul, and I love it. And Sherlock Holmes. Let's not forget Sherlock Holmes.
And Sherlock Holmes, yes. Yep. Yep.
And Watson is a full-bred corgi, correct?
He's actually a mix. We
okay.
don't know.
That's right.
I guess palm mix, but in all honesty, I do think he does have some corgi in him. He
He's got
definitely
those
looks
little
like it.
legs.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I'll finally have to post a picture of him to our social media. I keep forgetting to do that, but for
You do. I think you
for
should,
listeners
because I
out
think
there.
people that listen would like to see Watson.
Yeah.
They've seen the birds.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yep.
should probably post a picture of Odin. They've heard us talk about Odin, my cat, enough, who's
Mhm.
right up here, right next to me. I have to settle myself when we podcast from home, like through the Zoom, like we're doing now. I have to settle myself a good 10 minutes before we start so that this cat can stop walking all over me, all over the computer, and settle himself down
Mhm.
because he can't be too far from me. I'm surprised his paw isn't reaching down and touching me. So,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. And I'm surprised he hasn't woken up right now. He's sleeping because he loves Heather. And as soon as he hears Heather's voice, he's just all over everything. So,
I had Auntie Phil the other day. He was so excited when I came in the door. He was chattering away and he's circling me. And I was like, okay, buddy, I get it. You're stir crazy. And he was like, it's more than that.
Mommy's not home. Who's this Cole? I don't like Cole. I don't like this Cole. He's taking my mommy away.
He was so happy. He's climbing up at me, chirping. I was like, oh, Auntie missed you too, buddy. No. So I'm excited to hear, Ryan, all about kind of the ghost stories that you found in Florida.
Mhm.
Um, you know, as New Englanders, we know lots of people who are snowbirds and lots of people that travel down to Florida for the winter and poor them, they're just as cold as, well, not negative 25, but they're cold down there now. And so I feel bad for all our snowbirds that are down there who are freezing and they tried to
Uh,
escape that.
Yeah, yeah.
let's give him some good spooky stories to listen to. So, what'd you find out
Sure.
in Florida?
Well, I found actually three stories. I'll try to make them quick. But one, so I'm also interested in NASA. And so I looked up at was there any hauntings of any kind at NASA? And I did find at Cape Canaveral, it's Launch Complex number 34. It's considered the most haunted site in NASA's Florida facilities because there was a tragedy in 1967. There were three astronauts who passed away, and so they're saying that it's leading to reports of strange noises, screams, even an intense, overwhelming feeling of like heat on the pad. So
Hmm.
when people go there, they may hear screaming echoes of the loud noises. They may also feel like this intense burning sensation or heat just rising. So found that fascinating because what happened is that that's a site where the Apollo 1 crew passed away of a flash fire during a launch test.
So that
So
makes sense and for that heat to be felt, you know.
correct.
Have you ever
Yeah.
been to Cape Canaveral? Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there. I've driven by it. But I would love to actually like be there, like go on a tour and like see all this stuff. It'd be so cool. But yeah.
So, fun fact, I grew up my summers in Melbourne Beach, which is not far from Cape Canaveral, not far at all. And whenever there was a launch of any kind, we could watch it on the TV and then run out to our front yard and continue watching it as it went up in the air.
Wow.
It's not too far. Cocoa Beach is I don't know how many miles, but not that many miles. When I was of college age, Cocoa Beach had a really great bar that we would go to, kind of thing as college students. But yeah. And as a child, I got to tour it with family and stuff. It's a really fascinating place to go. And I'm not surprised that there is that kind of feeling of, I would say it's kind of like a residual energy thing happening, you know? Yeah.
That does make sense. Yeah, even the that makes sense. Even like the feeling of the flames and everything
Yeah.
that would be
Yep.
residual as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Not to be mistaken with a hot flash.
Oh, oh. Not if other people besides the middle-aged woman is feeling it, correct. Yeah. And it's really kind of interesting to feel that heat, that kind of heat, because usually it's cold spots that you feel when you get spiritual energy. Although it may not be residual energy because it could be intelligent energy. When I get spirits that interact with me for readings, let's say, they will impart on me certain things of how they passed. And
Ah,
if there is a spirit, an intellectual spirit there of one of those astronauts who passed, you might feel that heat.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it would be interesting if any of our listeners have gone there and
Yeah,
maybe they've experienced something too. But
maybe.
it is an abandoned place now that they're not using it. Now there's a memorial. So, but
Yeah.
you can still visit, and it'd be interesting to see if anyone has had any experiences with that.
Yeah.
The
For a
second,
while, it
oh,
was
go ahead.
closed. For a while, the Cape Canaveral closed to
Hmm.
visitors during, I think, after 9/11. For a while, it was closed. But anyway,
And then the second area that I looked into is actually an idea from Heather. So recommendation from Heather. So thank you. So we were curious about the Fountain of Youth in Florida, and basically it's one of the most famous legends tied to early European exploration. It's in Saint Augustine, which is the oldest occupied European settlement in the U.S. I found that interesting. But basically, the Fountain of Youth, it's said to be a mythical spring that can restore youth to anyone who drinks or bathes in the waters. The legend was associated with Ponce de Leon, a Spanish explorer who arrived in Florida in 1513. The popular myth claims that he came to Florida searching for the Fountain of Youth. What he was actually searching for was probably not that, but you never know. You never know. So, but basically, now the legend lives on in the Fountain of Youth archaeological, I probably butchered that word, park in St. Augustine. There you will find a spring that visitors can drink from. Yes, it is safe to do that. You'll find a recreated Spanish colonial village. There's some exhibits. You can see some rivers. There's cannons. There's peacocks. So that's interesting. There's historical reenactments.
Noisy
They got everything
birds.
there. They got everything. So
peacocks are really noisy.
They're
yeah,
really noisy.
yeah.
They sound creepy sometimes
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, the question is, does it really restore youth? People have said, you take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. So, but basically, they're saying that the spring was most likely used by the native people there for fresh, clean water. Currently, the Fountain of Youth is used as a symbol of hope and renewal, and it's also a major tourist attraction. So, most people drinking it have said that it's quite strong. Might taste like a little sulfur. There's an odor to it, but they just go there because of the myth. They want to experience it. So, and
You never know. You
you never
never
know.
know.
You never know unless you try. So,
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
then
Was there more information on your research about the Native American story before Ponce de Leon, figured this out or tried to, claim it for himself? Was there any lore or legend that you found through Native American stories of like what this originally was and how it came to what it would be for the Fountain of Youth?
that's a good question. I didn't get a chance to look into that, but that would be quite fascinating to hear about all.
I mean, I would assume there was probably, awful amount of indigenous people who might have lost their lives protecting this river, protecting
Mhm.
this water. Of course, we had a lot of our historical figures come over here thinking they're going to find gold, right? They're going to
Mhm.
find the Fountain of Youth or whatever. So definitely would love to hear if anybody has an indigenous story of how the water became associated as magic waters, so to speak, in that
Mm.
whole indigenous folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be intriguing. Yeah, I'm trying to think when I look back into, let's see what yeah, I don't have anything here, but that would be interesting to learn more about. So I'll have to look into that.
For sure. Well, you know what? That's something we can add to extra content for everybody once we do some research and reach out to some people in the areas that may know,
Hmm.
um, the the whole legend. I know a little bit about the legend. I know it came from the Taino Indians, and I do know that the spring existed. Part of I think it was begins with a B. Bimini. I'm not sure even how to say it. I know it's Bimini. and it came from the rivers. So I know the neat part of the legend and lore was it was supposed to not just restore your youth or whatever, but the water, because of its mineral and contents, was the healer for their shamans. And I know that they use that water for, as their life source. But as far as more mythical lore to it, I don't know. So we'll have to do some research. Always looking to see if we can keep a Native American historical story alive, right?
Yeah. Bimini. I think it's pronounced Bimini.
Bimini, thank you. I'm terrible with names. Once we get to Alabama, I'm going to butcher all the names, and I apologize to all my Bama people. What else did you find, Ryan?
Well, I got one more story here. I don't know if you've heard of this, Robert the Doll.
The doll or the dog?
Robert the Doll.
The doll. Okay.
Yeah.
Dolls.
Yeah. So apparently Robert the Doll is a haunted doll on display at the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. The doll dates back to the early 1900s. They're thinking around 1904, 1906, and was once owned by Robert Eugene, or known as Gene Otto, who was a local boy and also later an artist. So Robert the Doll is about 40 inches tall. He's stuffed with straw or wood wool, wears a sailor suit, and has button-like eyes and a rather eerie expression. So basically they're saying that the doll stayed with the boy throughout his whole life. After the boy passed away and he grew up in 1974, the doll was found in the attic of his family home. Then a woman took Robert the doll with her when she bought the house and later donated him to the Key West Art and Historical Society. But today, he's now protected in protected display at the museum. So the legend of the doll says, people say he moves on his own, he laughs, or changes expression. Visitors often report strange experiences near him, like cold chills, feeling watched, or electronics acting oddly. And a well-known belief, or local belief, is that you must ask permission before taking his photo. And if you don't, you might have bad luck afterwards. So many visitors actually write apology letters addressed to Robert the doll and send them to the museum in hopes of avoiding that bad luck.
Okay, so I don't mind admitting, creepy dolls, they creep me out.
Yeah.
The attic, I'm staying away from it. I'm sorry. Yep. And if this doll needs to be asked permission to take his picture, well, first of all, I wouldn't be taking the picture anyway. And second of all, I would definitely ask permission.
Right.
Because I don't know. Dolls creep me out. They move. I don't know. One of the stories I have talks about a doll that moves. Okay. No, not there. So I can sit there and I can do readings with spirits that have passed on. It doesn't freak me out. But you put a doll in there? I'm out.
I'm out. I agree with Lisa. I'm out.
We don't do creepy dolls. No creepy dolls.
All right. So we're not going to go take a trip? All right.
No. We'll have to have one of our fans go with you on that one.
I'll go to Key West. I'm just not going to go see the doll.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll go with you, but I don't have to go inside.
Because with my luck, I'd look at that doll and it would turn its head full 360 around and have its no.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see like the feeling of being watched. Like I felt that way, like looking at different objects and everything. But like, I don't know. I'm curious as to like the bad luck. Like if that really happened. If I don't know if they didn't ask permission.
I mean, I've heard of the idea of asking permission to take pictures of things. You do that for tree spirits and stuff like that. Yeah. It's again, it goes back to a Native American type of feel or just a nature respect kind of thing. But the whole idea of bad luck, if you don't, I don't know. I don't know. And then what's making that doll move? Is it the soul of the boy who passed on? Did he kind of like haunt his doll? I don't know.
Now that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
I don't
Hmm.
watch like we were talking about in a podcast a couple weeks past where we don't get into horror flicks or watching those horror movies like the Chucky or and things like that. I mean, I don't know the plot lines of those stories. I mean, is it the fact that these dolls are inhabited by, people who used to live and now they, are the soul of this doll and made the doll come to life? I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm out. Nope. I'm out.
Yeah. So I guess it's not like a Toy Story situation either. So I don't know.
No, that type of doll moving around, that's fine. Woody and Buzz, I'm cool with that. The horse, the dino, whatever. But
Yeah, you know.
creepy dolls, no.
I mean, if
So
it's
I
a
have a funny story about
yeah.
creepy dolls.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Yep.
When Mark, like this little thing at Christmas time where they could go pick out, something for their parents. And Marcello was probably 5, maybe. And she decided she was going to buy mom this little clown doll. And it had that weird smile that went all the way to the ears, and it had the creepy eyes. And of course, with a 5-year-old, you're trying to be. She was in kindergarten, so like you're trying to be upbeat. And I open this clown doll, and I'm just like, oh god, it was. I would write a horror story around this doll. And she was so proud that she picked out this little doll, right, for me. And so we had to have it on like the mantle, like all the time. And one night I came down the stairs and I could just feel this thing staring at me. And I went over and I grabbed it and I threw it outside. I'm like, no, not today. I was like, I can't handle it.
Gotta tell Marcella the clown wanted to join a circus and it
And
left.
Marcella gets up and she goes out for the, school bus and she's like, Mommy, your doll's outside. And I'm like, yeah.
Wanted fresh air.
Oh my God, this thing was so creepy. It wasn't attached to anything. It didn't have any spirits. It's just the way they had drawn the eyes and the smile and the makeup and everything. It was like so eerie. It looked like it was constantly following you or tracking you. Yeah, that poor clown met its demise in the driveway. He went for a walk for some fresh air and accidentally ended up under my tire.
Oh boy. Well,
So ever since the creepy clown experience, I'm out. Like no dolls.
you have people that are definitely afraid of clowns, not just doll clowns, but clowns, and then I guess there's a whole horror flick movies about clowns too. So anything with that kind of makeup that, I don't know. Anyway, wonderful, wonderful. Ending with the creepy doll in Florida.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Alabama. What you got, Heather?
Emma. Well, I want to give a shout out to, I don't know much about this author that's out there, but her name was Catherine Tucker Wyndham. I apologize if I pronounced any of your names wrong. But back in 1969, she wrote a wonderful book, which currently is on order for me. I'm going to looking forward to reading it. It's called The 13 Alabama Ghosts and Jeffrey. So we have a Gregory and she has a Jeffrey. So apparently this author has written this book and it has 13 folklore stories, ghost stories in it with intellectual and residual energies. And she's preserving the storytelling of these ghost stories. So I'm looking forward to receiving the book. I didn't get it in time for this recording. So for maybe the following one coming, we'll be able to talk about it. But she also talks about her own personal story, how she grew up in Jeffrey was a spirit child that lived in the home with her and very playful and grew up with her and her siblings and grew up with the family. They learned to, just kind of be with Jeffrey in this home and not have any negative results. So anybody looking to check out anything down in Alabama, or if anybody has read this 13 Alabama Ghost Stories in Jeffrey, that's the name of the title. I would love to hear about what you found. It was really hard to find what the stories actually were because it's obviously a copyrighted book, but apparently there's speak of residual replays of hauntings and intellectual and residual hauntings that apparently the intellectual ones actually interact in these stories. And I believe according to the write-up, there's a couple of maritime stories, so Southern Goth kind of things, but anybody out there listening, please let us know. Love to hear it. Can't wait to get my book. And then, of course, I had to move on, right? I had to go and keep digging. And I know it's not anything, it's kind of silly, but I went and looked for a lady in a color, right? Because that seems to be a theme with every state we go to. And sure enough, I did find one. And I'm really excited because she is there was a lady in white and there was a lady in red. And the lady in white is actually in Gaines Ridge Dinner Club in Camden. And I apologize to anybody from Alabama if I mispronounce this, but Demopolis. So Camden, Demopolis area of Alabama. It's the Gaines Ridge, dates back to about 1827. And they report that, and fun fact, it's an antebellum home, which is a very elaborate plantation home. And the building later became a historical site, and also it still continues to be a social gatherings place. But people who have gone here report that they see the lady in white, that she's a floating female figure and she's dressed in white, drifting past the windows. And so people glimpse her in the windows and people glimpse her in the hallways, kind of walking down elegantly. And I suppose if you're floating, you're elegant, right? But often believed to be connected to the former family, and this is why she stays. She's not the nicest white lady, the lady in white. She likes to scream, apparently. So as you're there, you'll hear random disembodied screams, and like nothing like to get the goosebumps going in the body, right? A good haunting scream. Probably why I don't watch horror films. I just don't want the goosebumps like that. But they also report that when you walk throughout this historical site that you'll smell pipe tobacco, which is such a distinct smell, right? Mm-hmm. The smell of pipe is the tobacco you use in a pipe versus a cigarette or even some of your other forms of tobacco out there is very distinct. I remember as a child being around pipe smokers, and what a comforting feeling that smell was, even though it was smoke, right? But I don't know. I think a lot of people can resonate with that. Pipe smoking was really big back in the day, and it does have that wonderful, I don't know, smell, grounding smell.
I know what you're talking about. Pop used to smoke pipes when he first joined our family. My stepdad, when he first joined our family, and he used to have these very old-fashioned pipes that I think he collected when he traveled. The aroma from a pipe, for me, I can't stand the smell of smoke, period, for most part, but pipe smoke is more tolerable for me than any other kind of smoke. So maybe it's just, I don't know if it was a smoke or just the smell of the pipe tobacco itself. Like you could smell the tobacco. He didn't smoke for very long. He ended up quitting when he joined the family, but I remember those pipes.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ryan? Were you ever subjected to the pipe
Pipe
smoking?
smoking, yes. Yeah, so one of my, I think he was my great uncle Art. He was one of my favorite relatives when I was a kid, and just because he had a great sense of humor and was just all around good guy. But yeah, he had a pipe that he smoked out of, and I think did it have different like scents too? Like because whenever I smell vanilla, I think of him. That's what I associate it with. But yeah, so yep, I remember being around that too.
Yeah, the aroma of a pipe is a very different aroma than that of a cigar or cigarette. It's more tolerable for me. It's more aromatic.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, especially like the different smells, like Ryan saying, like vanilla. I remember cherry. I
Mm.
remember the distinct smell of cherry in the pipe my father used to smoke. And then some of the uncles used to smoke that nice deep cherry smell. And even to this day, every now and then my dad will have a pipe and it's it instantly transforms you into like a time and space that you don't always think about, right? It's not necessarily thought about. So yeah, something about pipe smoke. But so I found that very interesting to go to this site and you're going to smell the pipe. You might smell the pipe smoking, and I don't think you would miss it as a clue, right? Because nowadays people don't smoke pipes. I It's very rare you see a younger generation or our generation smoking pipes. So I'd be very interested if anybody has gone through and smelt the pipe, knowing that nobody around is smoking an actual pipe. So then I moved over to finding the lady in red. And the
Oh,
lady in red is,
we haven't had a lady in
yeah,
red.
we've had a lot of lady.
We've had green, blue, white, and black.
Hmm.
Yep.
We need a chart.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have it. We need the push pin thing.
Yeah.
We do. And I actually think we did have a lady in red. I want to say in a previous recording that
What?
we've done for everyone, there was another lady in red. I'll have to go back through my notes.
Okay.
When, uh, but yes, so I found a lady in red. She resides at Huntington College in Montgomery, Alabama. Huntington College was founded in 1854, and as the Tuskegee Female College, and later relocated to Montgomery in 1909. They state that the hunting is tied to her to the Pratt Hall. It's one of the oldest dormitories on campus. And legend says the lady in red, her name is Martha, in the late 1800s. She was deeply, and I love how they use the word deeply because they're really trying to say to me, this is just not a regular kind of thing. This was like really embedded into the energy, really kind of brought the complete ambiance of this woman's life. And so she was wore red all the time. Woman after my heart. I absolutely love the color red. Wear it frequently. So apparently Martha would wear a lot of red, and this is why she became the lady in red. And she suffered massive emotional distress, often described as romantic rejection. I'm so sorry. That's awful. Nobody wants to be rejected, especially romantically. And with Valentine's Day right around the corner, especially nobody wants to be rejected. So it's reported that she died. Unfortunately, she took her own life in her dorm room. And it's claimed that because of, her romantic rejection, she died of a broken heart. To this day, students and faculty do report seeing a glowing red figure roaming the hallways. She stands near the windows, looking out over the driveway, waiting for someone to come claim her heart. I love the romanticism of that. Right? She's waiting by the window. It's such a drama. And they claim that lights turn red when she walks by them.
Oh, wow.
I want a video of this. I think this is a road trip, definitely. Right? The
Oh,
light bulbs turning red. I mean, you know, you add a little sting to that, and we got ourselves a mystery.
That's pretty cool.
And so a lot of people say that these hauntings and sightings more happen around her anniversary, tied to the poor tragedy. But they do say she interacts. They do say you can feel her emotional intent, which I'm so sorry because that's heartbreaking. But I suppose if you recognize what's going on, you can send it healing. But they also say she interacts purposefully, and she will warn female students not to fall in love, which I just find absolutely fascinating. So we have a lady in red, lady in white, and I am definitely going to run down to the store, maybe get ourselves, hopefully find a map, and we're going to need to start tracking these ladies, man. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
We're gonna need colored push pins. We need white, we need green,
Yeah.
we need pink, we need red, we need black,
Yep.
blue.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's see if we can find them in all the colors. That'd be cool.
I think we could.
How that happen?
Well, it seems like a fun challenge to find all the different ladies in different colors in different
Absolutely.
states.
We need purple, we need pink, we need to do this. So yeah, I'm gonna go out this afternoon and see if I can find a nice map where I can start doing some push pins.
I think on Patreon, for our Patreon subscribers, we'll put up a poll on which color they feel would be the most prominent by the time we're done.
I would love that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get a poll up there for our Patreon subscribers to do. Yeah. So
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
And once we do get a map, we should take a picture of it and
yep.
post
Put
it
up.
on social media, all the above.
Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
So yeah, a couple other hauntings I found. The old Kawawaba. I'm not even sure I said that correctly. That's out of Dallas County in Alabama. It's Alabama's first state capital from 1819 to 1826. The town severely declined because of flooding and then abandoned because of civil war. So lots of deep energy there, lots of, from water. Water's obviously a conduit, making spirit even more lively, using that running energy. But the legend is that there is a specter in the maze, and they report that there is a glowing figure that reportedly haunts the garden mazes at this old cow. I don't even. I'm not even sure I'm saying it correctly. It's Cahawba, Kawaba. And so they say that the old Kirkpatrick Mansion ruins reside here. And this is where you see the glowing figure that goes through the garden mazes. Visitors report a phantom riverboat sound. So cool. I've been on a few riverboats and they're absolutely amazing. Old time steamboats and paddle boats are incredible, but apparently you can hear the riverboat sounds, and then you hear voices coming from the area to warn of flooding and war, and the enemy is coming. They do say the sightings often appear as repeating visuals, which leads me to believe this is a residual energy, not an intellectual energy. Lots of auditory phenomenon, but no interactions. So if you're looking to test out your psychic skills of hearing, your clairaudience, I would say this is a place to hit, right? For
Most
sure.
definitely. Yeah.
Lots of other ones to talk about. We'll definitely get to them later on, but those were the three that kind of stood out to me. Again, I find it fascinating, so I've kind of taken it on that every reporting I need to do, I'm going to look for the ladies in color.
You and me both. You and me both. I found a lady in white in Mississippi, and I'm sure there were more. But if we move over to Mississippi, I've only driven through Mississippi on my way to Louisiana with my nephew, and it was a great little drive-through. But I didn't stop to do anything haunted, except I did try one of those. I think it was in Mississippi. I'll have to check back in my travel blog where you do one of those haunted roads, anti-gravity roads, where you're supposed to park what looks like at the bottom of a hill, and your car magically pulls you up this hill. And we did that, and the car did go what seemed to be uphill, but it's really an optical illusion where you're at the top of a hill and not really at the. It's just weird, but nothing ghostly there. But in my research in Mississippi, I'm going to start off with a bang. The most haunted place in Mississippi, known as the McRaven Mansion, and it's in
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Mississippi. It was built in 1797 by a man named Andrew Glass. Now, Andrew Glass was not a nice man. He was a highwayman, which means he robbed and killed people. And the stuff that he would take, he brought back, he built this house to be like the hideout where he would go with all his loot that he bought. So it is said that the hauntings in that house started when he was murdered. Now, he was found, apparently he was injured in one of his robberies, and when he got back to the house, he was in his bed, I guess, kind of out of it, just kind of recovering. And his wife found him there. Now she was very jealous because he was known to be cheating on her, an adulterer. So she took one of his knives and basically slit his throat. There you go.
Nice.
Wow.
His own bed, his
Mhm.
throat. That's how it goes.
Justice.
So the haunting of Andrew Glass is said to be a very angry haunt. He's a bit of a creep. He's known to be a bit of a creep, particularly towards women. The women that work in this home now don't go in by themselves because, they're a creep. People who go there report things being stolen by him. Obviously, his ways as a highwayman continues. The room that is known to be most haunted by him, it is a bedroom, I guess, known to be his bedroom. But in it is this cradle that has a corn husk doll. Now we're going to get to my doll. This corn husk doll looks not creepy, just looks like a regular corn husk doll, but it moves. And it'll move. It'll move during so they do ghost tours to this house, and it has been actually caught on camera or seen by tour groups moving.
Huh.
It'll stand up in this cradle.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it'll move, so it's standing up. Apparently, you'll go into this room and it's known to be laying in the cradle, and you'll find it somewhere else in the room. So something moving with corn husk doll, and then other reports in this room are to be that people are touched in this room. So, all right. So he dies. The house is purchased in 1836 by Stephen. Howard, I think is what I wrote. His wife Mary dies there. She died giving birth. She was only 15 at the time. And many of her own belongings still are there. And she's not an angry haunt. She's known to be very nice, but she likes to touch people. She moves things like furniture. There have been reports of people downstairs and they hear furniture moving upstairs. They go up into a room, they'll find a chair moved to one side to the other or whatever. So she's known to move things. So there's that. The house then was bought by another man named John Bobb, and he bought it and turned it into a field hospital for the Civil War. Bob was fatally shot about 100 yards away and from this home, and he's seen sometimes on the balcony because it was a field hospital for the Civil War. It is guesstimated about 300 soldiers are buried on the property. And this is kind of creepy in and of itself. The bones of these buried soldiers will pop out from time to time due to soil erosion. So, and if you walk across some of the property where these field hospitals are, it's very spongy. And every now and then, in fact, I was watching a paranormal investigation and they were getting a tour of the place, and the tour guide, they're walking along and he bends down, he picks up like this bone right here. It was a clavicle bone they found, just kind of like, popping up. So as you can imagine, it brings up these visions of zombie movies where hands coming up through the thing or whatever. But you can hear Confederate screams. You can hear, groups of people walking on the property that are said to be, soldiers and stuff like that. That's reported. But yeah, bones popping up. I don't know. And of course, as they're walking, they're like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, as they're walking to try to get to the house because they're basically stepping on, the gravesite of all these soldiers. So in the house then goes to the William Murray and his family. They moved in next, where 4 of them died, of course, in the house. I don't know why we'd buy this house, but 4 of them died in the house. In 1960, 2 of the remaining daughters just let the house go. It got overgrown, it got into disrepair. And it is said that you can sometimes see the Williams family spotted just walking the grounds. Okay, that's enough to kind of like, in 2008, it was owned by a man named Leland French. And he has reports of the most violent activity there. He was shoved down the stairs. A door closed violently on his thumb and broke it. And when he was on his hands and knees cleaning a rug, his face was shoved down into the floor, breaking his nose. He since left the house, has never returned. In fact, if anybody calls him from the McRaven mansion, he will hang up.
Wow.
No. Yeah. Can you imagine? In 2015, it's been owned by the Reed family, who now uses it as you see it now. You can tour it and whatever. Other reports of hauntings in this house. You can hear dishes rattling. You can actually be there. In fact, one of the tour guys saying he was doing a tour and all of a sudden the dishes start rattling that were set out on the dining room table, like shaking violently. An old lady voice has been known to say the word, "Excuse me." If you are to swear, oh, that's funny. If you are to swear or say a dirty joke, candles will fall from shelves in a different room. So somebody does not like a potty mouth in here.
I better not go.
Oh, you better not go. But they tested it out, and wouldn't you know? Yes, they were saying something, and all of a sudden they hear this noise. They go down, candle falling over. Yep.
Really? Wow.
And of course, you can hear footsteps. And I was watching one of the paranormal investigations. If you go to the McRaven Mansion website, they actually do feature one of their paranormal investigations that took place there. It's fascinating to watch. I went down the rabbit hole of watching all these different things. And they do show certain things happening. Doors opening, the candle falling, just different things like that. Luckily, I didn't see the Cornhusk doll move, but one of the people that was brought in, he had his cell phone deep in his pocket of his jacket, and somehow it flipped out and fell on the floor, like someone pulled it out of his pocket. And it was just different. So that is the most haunted place in Mississippi, or is known to be, and that's the McRaven Mansion. And if you go there, it's sort of like in the middle of like a bunch of trees and stuff. I guess it's on a street, but it's a bunch of trees. A couple other places I thought that were interesting. The Lady in White comes at the Chapel of the Cross Cemetery in Madison, Mississippi. It's the final resting place for Harry Gray Vick, if that means anything to you, who was killed in a duel days before his wedding. Okay. And his fiancee, Helen, reportedly wore her wedding gown to the funeral, if you can imagine that. Wearing your wedding gown to the funeral.
Wow.
And so the reports are her spirit is seen either visiting Henry's grave or sitting on a nearby bench wearing her wedding dress. So this is the Lady in White there. Another cemetery that has a weeping statue. We talked about the one in Sleepy Hollow. The city cemetery in Casuco, Mississippi, there's a statue of Laura Kelly, who passed away in the late 1800s, and many witnesses report seeing it weep. That's about there. And then the last one I want to tell you about is Stuckey's Bridge in Enterprise, Mississippi. So It is known that one of the members of the Dalton gang, which is a gang of outlaws named Stucky, opened an inn near the Chunky River, and he would stand outside with a lantern to guide visitors to his inn. And once he got them to his inn, he would murder them, rob them, and then throw the bodies in the river.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
All right.
nice guy.
Guy.
Once captured, once he was captured, Stucky was hung from that bridge. So reports are you can sometimes see his spirit walking with a lantern on the bridge, which would probably be residual, or see something hanging from the bridge. There has been one report of a person being pushed off the bridge, which would seem to be intelligent. But yeah, that's what I found in Mississippi.
Wow. Have
Yeah.
you ever witnessed, either one of you, ever witnessed a statue weeping?
No.
I have not. And we were at the statue in Sleepy Hollow. No, I have not. Have you?
I
You've seen
have.
that?
I have.
Oh, that's
It was mind-boggling because your brain instantly is like trying to tell you you're not seeing it, this is not happening. It's absolutely like it just takes you back for a second because it really makes you feel like, wait, am I crazy or is this really happening? And it was a Baptist church, actually. It was during my ministry training, and I had to go to this Baptist church, or I wanted to go to this Baptist church for a service. And so, being kind of the eager beaver, I kind of, sat in the front row, and I was right near the Mary statue and just kind of vibing with what was going on. And I looked up, and the statue was the Mother Mary statue was literally weeping. And so immediately brain goes, okay, is it raining outside? Is there a leak in this church? Is there
is that dew forming? Yeah, and all that
yeah,
stuff.
is it moist in here? Because it was an older church, the whole 9 yards. Like you really instantly, your left brain instantly tries to tell your right side of your brain that this is not happening. And lo and behold, apparently one of the parishioners who was quite lovely recognized I was having some visceral experience seeing that happen. And to this day, I actually have the cotton balls that apparently this statue is known to weep. And I actually still have the cotton balls of tears that we collected. They actually hand out, like, I didn't know this because I'm not a Baptist parishioner. So apparently this is something that happens with the mother statue all the time. And they actually have cotton balls where you can collect the tears and use them for your prayers so that she'll assist you. And I still actually have the cotton balls from it. In a safe place, but it is mind-boggling because, again, in this day and age with everything having a scientific point of view, your brain instantly starts doing this weird kind of like, is that really happening? Is that really happening? Am I losing my mind? Am I crazy? So
Then you start to think, you look at the statue, are they piping water through it? Is there a mechanism in here? Are they fooling us? You look, it's interesting. I just came across, I'm a bookaholic. I read a lot. I picked up a book and I can't wait to read it and share it with you guys. It's called Ghost Lab. And it's about finding the scientific reasoning behind ghostly experiences, right? And I can't wait to read into that. But no, I've never seen a statue weep. I've seen things move. I've seen doors open. I've heard footsteps. I've seen all kinds of things, but never seen that one.
I've never seen a statue weep since. Obviously, always kind of keeping my eye out now that I've had that experience. And that was a long time ago. How about you, Ryan? Did you ever see a statue weep?
I've seen it on Unsolved Mysteries episodes, but not in real life. So I've seen it on TV, but not in real life now.
And of course, on TV, are they making that? Is that CGI? Is that,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep.
Now with AI and all the different videos, who knows what's real, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole other saga we could get into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to go up. I think we're going to turn and go up the Mississippi. We're actually going to hop over Tennessee from now and come back to Tennessee because one of us is going to be visiting Tennessee and hopes to get some real life experience down there to share. So when Heather gets down to Tennessee, she's going to see what she can find out for us down there. But we're going to head up to Mississippi, but do keep tuned to our Haunted America series. We will be continuing next week with that. And just a shout out to our Patreon subscribers. We really do appreciate you. And just to let you know, May 4th is our live taping. You can certainly register for that on either of our websites at Artist Haven Media or Serenity Grove Wellness Center. Either of our websites, you can register for that. And what else do we have coming up?
We have the New Age Fair.
Yeah, the New Age Fair, March 29th in Weathersfield. Be looking for that. We'll be putting stuff up on our social media, so you can find us there. Come meet us, say hi. Hopefully we'll have our map with our push pins then that you can take a look at. And a lot of fun things for there. I did find an affirmation if you guys would like. It's a winter affirmation. I was looking because we've been in such a deep freeze here in New England. So I said, what kind of affirmations would be great for this period of time? And I found one I thought it would be nice to share. You ready?
Sure.
So I am a beacon of light, radiating warmth and positivity, even in the coldest of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Perfect. So until next week, get ready to connect.
Thank you for tuning in to Ready to Connect. If you're interested in exclusive behind-the-scenes content, be sure to like, share, and follow us on social media by searching for Ready to Connect Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And for those looking to further support our podcast, consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/readytoconnectpodcast. And until next time, get ready to connect.